Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Me and my group members will be presenting factors influencing young people's willingness to invest. So this presentation aims to discuss the key factors that influence investment intention among young people, particularly within the Malaysian and Islamic financial planning context. So our discussion is based on findings from previous research and focus on behavioral, social, and ethical influence on investment decision. Before we start our session, I would like to present our group assignment, and my name is Afiq Ashrany bin Alfian, and together with my members Mustaqim bin Mohamad Nasir, Mohamad bin Abdul Rahim, Mohamad Zikril Hisyam bin Saparudin, and Mohamad Shaheer bin Johan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zikril bin Saparudin. My matrix number 1220737. For this part, I will explain the literature review overview for our research. Overall, the literature review focus on young investment behavior, specifically examining the factors that influence young people's willingness to invest. Previous studies consistently show that young individuals face different challenge and motivation compared to older investors, such as limited experience, lower income, and higher dependence on social influence. Next, this study also placed strong emphasis on the Islamic financial and investment context. Many previous studies highlight that for Muslim youth, investment decisions are not only driven by profit consideration, but also by Sharia compliance and ethical values. This include avoiding elements such as riba, gharar, and non-halal activities, which make Islamic investment behavior distinct from conventional investment behavior. Finally, the literature review is based on empirical studies, including both local and international research. These studies used to establish theories such as the theory of planned behavior and focus on variables like financial literacy, social influence, attitude, perceived behavioral control, and religiosity. By reviewing these studies, these research aim to identify consistent findings as well as gaps that justify further investigation into young people's willingness to invest. Based on previous studies, several key factors have been identified as influencing young people's investment intention. The first factor is financial literacy. Many studies show that young people with better knowledge and understanding of investment product, risk, and financial concept are more confident and more willing to invest. Financial literacy helps reduce uncertainty and fear, especially for first-time investors. The second factor is social influence, particularly from family, members, and peers. Previous research consistently find that young people are highly influenced by their social environment. Recommendations, encouragement, and example from parents, friends, or close network play a major role in shaping investment decisions, sometimes even more than personal knowledge.
Okay, for the third factor, involve attitude and perceived behavioral control. Attitude refer to how positively or negatively young people view investment, while perceived behavioral control reflect their confidence in their ability to invest. So studies suggest that young people who see investment as beneficial and believe they have the ability and resource to invest are more likely to show investment intention. Lastly, religiosity and Islamic values. Religiosity and Islamic values are especially important in an Islamic investment context. Some studies show that strong religious commitment increase preference for Sharia compliant and ethical investment. However, other studies indicate mixed results, suggesting that younger investors may balance religious values with practical consideration such as profit and opportunity. So this variation highlight the need to further examine the role of religiosity among young investors. So overall, these factors form the foundation for the variable examined in this research. Okay, now we jump into the comparison of the previous study. When we examine the previous study collectively, several patterns emerged regarding the factors that influence young people's intention to invest. First, There are clear similarities. Most studies consistently highlight the importance of social influence, such as family, peers, and close social networks, as well as financial literacy. This demonstrates that investment knowledge alone is not enough. Young individuals are also strongly guided by the behavior, advice, and expectation of those around them. Social norm and learning from other plays a crucial role in shaping investment decisions. At the same time, difference in emphasis are apparent. Some studies, particularly those focused on Islamic financial planning, place strong importance on religiosity and adherence to Sharia principles as motivating factor. This suggests that for some youth, ethical and religious considerations are central to their investment decision. Conversely, other research prioritize behavioral and economic factors, such as personal attitude toward investment or the desire for financial gain, indicating that practical and motivational aspects may outweigh spiritual consideration for certain groups. Overall, the literature suggests that youth investment behavior is influenced by a dynamic interplay of multiple factors: social, cognitive, behavioral, and religious. Understanding investment intention therefore requires a holistic perspective that considers both internal drivers such as knowledge, attitude, and religiosity, and external influence such as social norms and peer behavior. This synthesis provides a strong foundation for identifying research gaps and guiding further study, particularly in the Malaysian context of Islamic financial planning.
Okay, so finding and discussion. This section presents the key findings and discussion based on 6 previous empirical studies related to young people saving and investment behavior, particularly within the context of Islamic financial planning. The findings are analyzed and compared with established theories such as theory of planned behavior, behavioral finance theory, and Islamic financial principle. So, overview of key finding. Overall, the findings shows that young people investment behavior is influenced by a combination of financial behavior, social and religious factors. However, the level of influence of each factor varies depending on age group, investment context, and the type of financial instrument. The main determinant identified across the study include financial literacy, social influence or subjective norms, attitude, perceived behavioral control, religiosity, as well as psychological and cultural factors. Among these, financial literacy and social influence appear to be the most consistent predictors of investment intention. One of the most consistent findings is the importance of financial literacy. Studies by Ja'far and Ibrahim shows that Sharia financial literacy has a strong positive influence on Islamic investment intention. Knowledge of concepts such as riba and gharar increase confidence and reduce uncertainty when making investment decision. From an Islamic financial planning perspective, financial literacy empowers young Muslims to distinguish between halal and non-halal investment instruments. However, findings also suggest that financial knowledge alone may not be sufficient without support from positive attitudes and social encouragement. Social influence is found to be the strongest and most consistent predictor of investment intention. Ibrahim and Ali discovered that subjective norms have the highest impact compared to attitude and perceived behavioral control. This indicates that encouragement from family, peers, and close social networks plays a crucial role. Social influence in theory and practice. These findings strongly support the theory of planned behavior, which stated that individuals are more likely to engage in a behavior when it is socially accepted. In Muslim and Asian society, collective decision-making and family influence further strengthen this effect. Attitude towards investment. The findings on attitude shows mixed results. Some studies, such as Zandi, found that a positive attitude increased investment intention. However, Ibrahim and Ali found that attitude only influences intention indirectly through financial literacy. Perceived behavioral controls also shows inconsistent results. While some studies found it significant, others report no meaningful effect. This may be due to younger investors lacking experience and confidence to accurately assess their ability to invest. The role of religiosity represents the most divergent findings. Jafar found religiosity to be a strong predictor of Islamic investment intention. However, Afifa and Tubastuvi found no significant effect among Generation Z, suggesting generational difference in values. Interpretation of religiosity findings. These contrasting findings suggest that religiosity may not act as a direct determinant, but rather as a moderating factor. Younger investors may still respect Islamic values but prioritize financial returns and practical considerations, especially in the earlier stage of investment. Broader implication. The findings have important implications for Islamic financial planning. Financial institutions and policymakers should focus on strengthening Sharia financial education and leveraging social influence through family-based and community-based approach. So for challenge and emerging trends, despite increasing awareness, challenges remain such as limited understanding of Islamic financial product and misconceptions about lower returns. However, emerging trends like Islamic fintech, digital crowdfunding and ESG-based Sharia investment offer strong potential to attract young investors. In conclusion, youth investment behavior is multidimensional and context-specific. Financial literacy and social influence are the most consistent determinants, while attitude, perceived behavioral control, and religiosity vary across generations and settings. Therefore, the findings highlight the need for a holistic Islamic financial planning model that integrates financial education, behavioral insights, social influence, and Islamic values to effectively promote savings and investment behavior among the youth.
For the recommendation, these studies propose several approaches to enhance investment participation among young people, particularly within the Malaysian and Islamic financial planning context. So, firstly, financial education programs should move beyond a heavy focus on technical knowledge and instead incorporate behavioral-based elements. So, while financial literacy remains important, young investors also need to develop emotional control, confidence, and awareness of behavioral bias that may affect their decision making. Incorporating behavioral simulations, real-life investment scenarios, and decision-making exercise can help young people become more prepared and disciplined investors. Secondly, peer and community-based investment support should be strengthened. So the findings indicate that young people are strongly influenced by their social environment, especially family members and peers. Therefore, investment initiatives that encourage group participation, share learning, and community engagement can be more effective in motivating young individuals to start investing. Such approaches can help reduce fears, increase confidence, and create positive social norms around investment behavior. So lastly, from an Islamic financial planning perspective, stronger emphasis should be placed on ethical and Sharia-oriented investment guidance. So clear communication regarding Sharia compliance, ethical screening, and Islamic principle can enhance trust and reassurance among Muslim youth. When young investors are confident that their investment align with their moral and religious values, they are more likely to demonstrate long-term commitment and responsible investment behavior. For the conclusion, this study concludes that young people's willingness to invest is a multidimensional process that extends beyond financial literacy alone. Investment decisions among Malaysian youths are shaped by an interaction of behavioral readiness, social influence, and ethical considerations rather than purely rational financial evaluation. These findings challenge the traditional assumption of rational investor behavior and highlight the relevance of behavioral and socio-cultural perspective in financial planning. From an Islamic financial planning standpoint, investment is not merely a wealth accumulation activity but also a value-based decision that must align with ethical and Sharia principle. Therefore, a holistic financial planning approach that integrates financial knowledge, behavioral awareness, and moral value is essential in encouraging responsible investment participation among young people.